And we are live. What a mess today. I've got a lot of spinning. I don't know what's happening, but welcome, powerful souls. This is Blaze, my partner in crime. She heard me going live and decided to join as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Laurie Majka. I am the host of the Laurie Majka YouTube channel, where I have interviewed, gosh, close to probably 400 people now. A lot of people who have had near-death experiences, channelers, people who've had dream interpreters. They do past life mediums, you name it. If it's spiritual, love to have these conversations. And really the specialty and how my channel is a little bit different is that I like to go deep, deep, deep. I think that the near-death experience is the tip of the iceberg. It is just the very beginning of what is the wisdom that is integrated over so many years for people who've had these experiences. And when you can ask the right questions and pull out information, it helps everybody who watches. So I am so grateful to be able to do this. I am so lucky to be able to have these conversations. And this channel is a labor of love for me. I enjoy doing this so much. Full-time gig. I have a full-time technical corporate job that I've been doing for many, many years. And I spend about 45 hours in my full-time corporate job and about 35 hours at least, sometimes more than that. I was up till 1:30 in the morning, both Saturday and Sunday, working on editing for this channel. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. This channel is this live is not about me. This live is about you. I always open it up and start off with talking about the synchronicities that I've had. Oh, and my microphone isn't plugged in. I just realized I probably sound pretty bad right now. Let me see if I can plug this in. Okay, that should be a little bit better. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me know in the comments if I didn't just ruin my audio. Sometimes things happen. I could not get on live today. It took me 3 tries to get on live. So somebody can just put a thumbs up in the comments and in the chat and let me know if you can hear me right now. So hopefully we're all good. But what I want to do is I want to open this up to talking first about my synchronicities that have happened since I was with you a week ago, because my life it's been for very many years full of synchronicities and signs, and it is on steroids lately. I don't know what is happening. I think that it is the speeding up of the ascension of us going into this new awakening. We've been talking about this on my channel for a really long time. I actually started talking about us going into a 5D reality back in 2020 when I was recording the series of videos I did called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose. And I had a guest today who talked about this on our interview, about instead of looking at it as like it's some special thing of a 4D or a 5D, what if we looked at it as going into this platform of happiness where we're raising our vibration so that we're on a different platform and we're getting a different outcome with our lives? And I love that. So, all right, I'm waiting for some comments or questions that people have, things that you want to know about, things that you want to ask me. Really, nothing is off limits. I will answer any questions, speak to anything that you want to talk about. We can talk about spiritual topics. We can talk about things that came up on past interviews, any past interviews, and anything that is really on your mind. If you just want to share a little bit about what's going on with you, if you want to share different signs or synchronicities that you're getting, I love to hear them. What I always say about signs and synchronicities is my signs and synchronicities confirm yours and yours confirm mine, because we are not really living in this singular world where everything centers around us. We are a collective. We are so interwoven and connected to one another that to one literally happens to all of us, because there is no separation except for the illusion that we have while we're here in this human incarnation. So I'm going to open it up and talk about a few things that happened with my guests that I thought were really fun synchronicities. So The first one I want to talk about centers around a video that I released a couple of weeks ago. So, my friend Kristen Houston, who has been on the show, I think 5 times now, came on to talk about a download that she has been getting from a ascended being who has identified herself as Sophia Wisdom of Ages. And Kristen shared on her video about all of the things that they are saying is coming to help the earth. The earth is going to be going through this earth rift, potentially could be happening in February. And so this has been on my mind a lot. And this is kind of interconnected to an interview that I did a year ago with John Peterson. If you guys remember, last probably April, I released John Peterson's interview. He was a futurist. I met him on my trip in Egypt. We were together with Robert Edward Grant and a whole group of other people, and we really connected. And so I wanted to talk to him. And he talked about the changes that the world was going to go through, that the economy was going to go through. As a futurist, John spoke to 2 different presidential administrations. He was an advisor to them about future events that were to come. And he so believed that the earth was going to change that he felt that we had to form these communities. And he created a group called the Arlington Institute. And when I talked to him, he really kind of freaked me out about like what was coming. People were saving seeds and they were burying propane tanks and they were creating these radios, these ham radios, so that they could communicate with people around the world. And I remember having this conversation with a really close friend of mine. And as I was expressing some of the anxiety I was having over these potential future changes, a Jeep passed me with a license plate that said, "Not now." I cannot make these things up. A license plate sign is a really special sign to me because you have to think about all of the things that had to happen to put you in the exact point in time to see another car with a license plate that speaks to you in a very specific way. So I took that to heart and I did nothing. I didn't prepare a single thing. But when Kristen started talking to me about this in December, it felt different than my conversation with John. And for the very first time in my life, I have actually prepped a few things. I'm not living in any kind of fear. I really believe that things are happening for me and not to me. But I decided that if there was some event that took out the electricity, that I wanted to be prepared. So I have a few things that I kind of comfort. And I also listen to geophysicist Stephen Burns. And if you guys are familiar with him, he talks a lot about what's going on with the sun and the plasma and some of these solar events that have happened that cause northern lights, aurora borealis, and also have affected the solar winds and some different things with our magnetic atmosphere. And so he's talking about some things that are coming that are connected to planetary alignments. So in February, I think the 20th, we have a conjunction of several different planets. And when that happens in the history of the Earth, you can look back and see that it triggers things like volcanic eruptions and also earthquakes. And there's been a lot of earthquake activity happening in San Francisco, and that's the area that Kristen talked about. So I know there's a lot of backstory to get to these signs, but again, when I explain this, I think you'll understand where I'm going. So like John Peterson a year ago, and that license plate was like, "Not now." I have had the opposite effect this time, and I've been getting signs that are reminding me of San Francisco. So one of them was a guy that I had interviewed last April of 2020, Reverend Bill McDonald. And if you're familiar with him, I released his interview last Friday. But when I first interviewed him, there were a lot of synchronicities around doing that interview. And it was a really amazing conversation. He's a man who had a near death experience at the age of 8. And then he had a life review, and there wasn't a lot to review about his current life. So they showed him 50 years into the future, his life and other events that were happening, like the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So I was really excited about his interview, and I was thinking about these playlists that I've been curating, and one of them is the top intriguing interviews that I've done. And I was thinking about him, and I thought, oh, I need to add his interview to the playlist. And I went to go do that, and I couldn't find it. And I did a little bit more digging. I went video by video, page by page, and I never released his interview. So a week ago Sunday, I pulled his interview up, the raw footage, to edit it. And the first thing I noticed was that he was wearing a sweatshirt that said San Francisco. So the timing of that is kind of incredible. The fact that I interviewed him a year ago, didn't release it, didn't even know I didn't release it. And then when I pull it up, I see the San Francisco. Another thing that happened last week, and I'm going to talk about this next week in a little bit more detail, but while we're on the subject of Kristen Houston is a super close personal friend. She lives about an hour and a half away from me, but next week she's in town. And so next Wednesday, on the 11th of February, Kristen will be here at my house, and she will be doing a live with me. So I'm really, really excited to have her come and address the multitude of questions. I can't even count how many comments have been on her video. She's been releasing these downloads that she's continued to get from Sophia and from the collective of entities that are called the council. They're like a group of entities that are part of an ascended collective that is giving us messages, not to just Kristen, but lots and lots of people right now are getting messages and downloads from this group of very highly evolved beings. And so Kristen's going to come. You'll be able to bring your questions and ask about all the things that are on your mind, on your heart. We are not doing any of this to elicit fear. These really, I know some of these things do sound fearful that she's talking about, but she said, nothing's written in stone. And that's one of the things that is kind of hard about having a date out there to the collective and to the entities on the other side and to our passed away loved ones who are no longer on earth. Time isn't the same. So I'm always a little bit reluctant about times, but she's been very adamant that they have been impressing this time of the 18th of February on her over and over again. And I found out this week that this time frame that she's talking to was spoken about by Edgar Casey before he died, and he specifically named February of 2026 with all of these earth changes and ascensions that were going to be happening. And if you're not familiar with Edgar Casey, look him up. In the beginning of my spiritual journey, which really probably started in earnest about the time like 25 years ago, Edgar Casey was the very first spiritual teacher that I came across. So I read lots of his content, lots of his books. They called him the sleeping prophet. He would go into these deep trances. And although he only had an eighth, come up with all of these medical advice, he'd be able to talk in great detail about the body and how these ailments worked with absolutely no education. And people would go and look these things up, and he would be spot on. Like, he was very revered during the time that he was alive, and they recorded his sessions. So that's why people have this knowledge that is transforming into times that, like right now, where he's spoken about things that he could not have known about and prophesied about what's coming. So anyway, getting back to this sign for Kristen, I had a dinner on Tuesday a week ago, and I got to this dinner, and there was a person who was invited to it who I had never met before. And when she sat down, she said that she almost didn't come because last night she had just traveled back from San Francisco. And there is a massive, massive, for me, synchronicity that happened around this dinner that weaves in and out in things that I had absolutely no control over, that I am going to share when Kristen comes on next week to do the live. So the only spoiler alert is that she sits down and says she's from she just got back from San Francisco. So we're going to be talking about that. I also, when I interviewed Dr. Bill, Reverend Bill, sorry, he mentioned a couple of different masters. He talked about Yogananda and he talked about Babaji. And so the next interview that I did on Friday night, Friday late afternoon, actually, after I was with a man named Chris George. I didn't know this, but my sister's really good friends with Chris George. And for those of you who don't know, my sister does the bookings for this channel. She's highly intuitive. She's had 2 near-death experiences. I've interviewed her here. She did a live with me, but she her intuition and she goes and gets guests and she on to have this discussion with me. And during the interview, I was really surprised when he brought up Babaji and Yogananda. I can count on less than 2 hands how many times in my 400 interviews people have mentioned those two in an interview. Not very often. And so I told Chris, wow, I can't believe you just brought up Babaji and Yogananda because I just interviewed a man whose video I released today named Reverend Bill McDonald. And to that comment, Chris said to me, Reverend Bill was the last person I talked to before I got on the interview with you. Like, what are the chances of that? I didn't even know that they were connected. There was no way to know that. And it almost feels like an urging sometimes when I make comments to people. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there and, I could have just silently let him talk about that, but I sometimes feel like or an urge to make a comment. And I try really hard when people are talking during their NDEs to not interrupt them. I don't like to interrupt that flow, but that comment actually happened after he had already described his near-death experience. So I thought that that was really, really cool, and so did he. So really, really awesome. Last week I talked a little bit about 1111. I've spoken about synchronistic numbers, but really specifically 1111 a lot. If you look at my channel name, it is Laurie Majka 1111. And I shared last week, and I'll share it again because this is my fun fact about me that you probably didn't know. I have, let me see if I can make this work again. This is so hard to get. Let's see. Oh, can you see that? Oh, there it is. You can see it. So this is a black light, and I have a UV tattoo that says 1111. So 1111 is like a massive part of my life. When I first really started coming into this spiritual stuff, I would see 1111 all the time. So anyway, I have it here. It's just my little thing. You can't see it when I don't have a black light. So super fun when I'm in a haunted house. But 1111 things happen for me all the time. And so I shared last week that I had edited a video that was a 3-hour video, and I decided I'm not Joe Rogan. I cannot release a 3-hour video on my channel. So I took this man's 2 NDEs and I chopped it in half. And at the very place I chopped his video from one NDE to the next, it landed at 11, 11, 11, 04, I think was his. And again, did not look at any timing, just noticed it after the fact. And last night I was talking to Dr. Reverend Sunshine Frost. She was on my show a year ago, and there was a cool synchronicity with this. She reached out to me and said, I feel compelled to have a conversation with you. She's not selling anything. She doesn't have a new book. She does a lot of these readings at a very discounted price. She gives away a lot of readings, like at children's hospitals and stuff. She's not about the money at all. And I really loved my conversation with her. So she scheduled to do an interview with me, and it happened to be yesterday. And I went back to look at the interview that we did a year ago, and I was shocked, shouldn't have been, but I was shocked to see that her interview was released on February 3rd of 2025. And here I was sitting with her exactly 1 year to that date, interviewing her for a second time. So I love that synchronicity. When I do interviews with people, I run a timer on my phone so that I can make notes in the editing for if something gets interrupted and I need to cut something out, or if I see a part that's really great that's going to make a great short, I'll make these notes. And at the end of our interview, I went to go stop the timer when she finished, and it was 11, 1 hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds, 0.07. And when I went to edit her video today, I actually took a screenshot of that and sent that to her. So 1111 is so fun for me. I love it. And I would also love to hear from you guys if you get a lot of 1111s. I have one more synchronicity that happened. I'll save that for later because I'm seeing is in the comments, and I'm just going to take a look and see what you guys are talking about here. So, okay, thank you. Hello. Well, it's a good thing I haven't been talking and nobody's been hearing me, but thank you for the confirmation. To my sister, shout out to you. Thank you so much for all you do for the channel. This is really our collaborative channel. So thank you. I'm glad that you could see that. Oh, authenticity. Thank you. Thank you so much. I went and looked at your interview. I do absolutely remember you. It's getting so hard for me to remember all these NDEs, but thank you for all of your support. Thank you for commenting on the videos. You guys, every time somebody comments on the video, it tells YouTube people are engaged, they like the content, and serve us more of this. So I so appreciate every comment. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. I get way more. I rarely get very negative comments on all of my channel, but I'm super appreciative of everybody's comments. So thank you so much. Let's see. I have to find watching that. I do remember you mentioning this in the beginning. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Oh, Beth, your birthday is 11/11. How special is that? Like, when did you, I mean, you probably have always known like 11/11 is kind of a cool date to have as a birthday, but when did you realize that it was like a spiritual number? I know it's a Veterans Day, but like 11/11, I feel like I call it the call. So I'd love to hear when you thought that that was something. Sorry. I have Raynaud's too. So does Stephanie. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Raynaud's is an autoimmune disorder that causes, it's a circulatory disorder that causes you to be cold. And you know what's crazy? I somehow in the last, maybe this is TMI, but I somehow in the last year went through menopause. I did not have any signs that my body went through it. I just know that I am through it from talking to my doctor, but I don't have Raynaud's really anymore. I feel like my body temperature rose just a little bit. I'm not ever hot. I don't get hot flashes or anything, but I'm not the cold the way that I was. So maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. Pervispo, will you tell me what your name is? I interact with you all the time. I think I'm sure, I'm not sure that you're a man or a woman. I'm guessing that you're female, but I don't know for sure because the majority of the people who watch this channel, I think I was 63%, I think, are women on this channel. But thank you for joining today. And you always say first or second, and it makes me smile every time I see you do that. It's just so it's special that somebody cares about mine. It makes me like feel like a little bit like getting tears in my eyes. It makes me so happy to know that there's somebody out there who I have never met who cares enough about my content to actually write a comment that says I was the first one to watch it and that you feel proud to be the first one to watch a video or a short when it comes out. It makes my heart sing. So thank you so much. This support from this channel to me. The comments that I get from people, like I just I'm just in awe of what people say to me in the comments. I'm just feel so grateful that the guests that Stephanie gets are resonating with you, that the content that people put out there, that the conversations have meaning and that it's touching you or helping you in any way. I just feel so blessed to be able to do this. Oh, you use arnica. Oh, that's interesting for the pain. Oh, I don't have any pain with my Raynaud's. Okay. Yeah. It's freezing and and then it actually, this is kind of a fun fact about me and my corporate job. Um, my boss at the time when I worked for Hewlett Packard, I was in a sales position and I had to travel all the time to like Cincinnati. I lived in Chicago. I was going to Kansas City. I had all these different accounts that I was traveling to. I was on a plane every single week. And they had rules about where you could live. I actually used my HR and I told them about my Raynaud's and that I couldn't be I was going to, wrote a note and said that it would be better for my condition if I didn't live in a cold climate anymore. And I got an HR exception to move to Arizona. And my boss was so pissed. My two up like VP was so pissed. He told me, oh, at a conference, he told me in a one-on-one conversation that he was going to do anything he could to get me out of the company because he felt like I went over his head. And I should have gone to HR and sue him, but everything happens for a reason, and I was not meant to stay in the energy of that company, and I went on to other things, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So some things happen for us, right? Not to us. Like getting fired from a job, who would think that that would be a thing that you would be like, oh, this happened for me and not to me, but that really did. And that was a really lucrative job. I had an unbelievable sales year there, like my best in my career at that company, and then they fired me. So I don't know how you finish number 2 worldwide in sales for a company, and then they push you out the next year. But whatever, move on. Okay. Okay. So I'm on soulmates. Oh, I have many thoughts on soulmates, and there is a video. So if you look in my playlist, I created a series of videos called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose, What You Don't Know Is Holding You Back. And these were a download that I got after a journey where I was on the other side on the winter solstice of 2020. And when I came back the next day for this journey, I got a download that became the outline that turned into 63 videos. And these videos go in a very specific order and they talk about all the spiritual things from the very beginning of like, you picked everything in your life. I cover things like spirit guides, energy systems, like with your chakras, how they work, how our vibration works. And I talked a lot. I did an entire series on soulmates, and I talked about soulmates and free will. My belief about soulmates is that we do not have one. It's not like the movie romanticized them where there's this one person like in Jerry Maguire, oh, you complete me. I believe that we have soul mates. These are we have a group, a cluster. So like what's been kind of intuited to me is that we have a cluster of souls that we have traveled with through millennia. There's probably, if I was going to put a number on it, like 12 or 15, certainly no more than 20. These are soulmates that we vibrate at the exact same level, and we participate very closely in what we want to learn for each other, how we want to help each other learn things when we come into these earthly incarnations. And not all of that soulmate group comes into an incarnation. Some of them hang back to guide you, to help you when you're on your journey here, because we know each other so intimately. We really hang together and assist each other. And I think that these are the soulmates that give us the lessons that we would potentially look at as negative. Like maybe I'll give an example. So Mark, my soulmate, who I've talked about a lot, I believe is in that soul group. And when he was here and incarnated, we had this relationship, and it was kind of this back and forth, in and out. And when it ended, I kind of had the feeling like he didn't pick me. And I had to overcome this. It was a big part of the experience I wanted to have here, to realize that somebody, a soulmate, somebody in your life, isn't responsible for you feeling picked or not. You are the one who picks you, and you need to overcome any attachment to anybody else picking you, not picking you, it doesn't matter. And so that was a big soul lesson for me. And so he would have, as that real close soulmate group, raised his hand and said, okay, I'll do that for you. I know it's going to be a hard thing we're going to go through, but I'm going to volunteer and do that for you. Then, like branches on a tree, what I did to illustrate this idea of how the soulmates work is I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I found the largest cottonwood tree that exists in Arizona. And I sat on that tree and I took a branch and I talked about how soul group would be all the leaves on that branch. But then that little branch is sitting on a larger branch. And that branch has soulmates that are also very close to us. So they could be things like your husband or wife in a lifetime. It could be a sibling. It could be a best friend. It could be a mentor, like somebody who played a significant role in helping you to become who you are in this lifetime, because it's only built upon all of those relationships that you could become who you are trying to be in this lifetime, to have all these experiences that you want to check off on this list of this is what I want to experience when I come into my earth experience. So that tiny branch is on a larger branch, and that larger branch is connected to like what would be a very large branch. Like it might be one of, if a tree had like 4 branches on it, it might be one of the 4 central branches. And those people in that could be people that influenced you in some way, like teachers or people that you went to school with. You may, they just come into your life. Maybe it's a coworker or a boss or somebody who had an effect on you. Maybe it was a friend who came into your life just for a season and then was gone again. So I think that we're influenced that way. And then maybe like the branch that is a main of those 4 main branches, maybe a branch that's further away from you, influencing you in the way that they're directly connected to you. But maybe you decide to live in a certain part of the country. Like maybe you decide to live in the western part of the United States, or the eastern part of the United States, or the central part. And the people who migrate to those areas usually have a kind of a vibration that's really similar to each other, and it influences what your life is like. Like somebody living in California is having a much different collective city and state experience than somebody living in New York, because the people are very, very different in how they interact with each other. So ultimately, all of those branches are part of the tree, right? So every single leaf on every single branch is connected. You can't take one leaf off and throw it away. It's all part of the same tree. It's all the same thing. And you could look at the trunk as being source, because really, just like those leaves are the tree, you think that you're you, but you are God, you are source, you are universe, label it whatever you want it to be. But there is only one thing in the universe having these experiences. It is a source having 8 inconceivable, unless you've been on the other side and you can understand the massive power that is that source. And then I go on to explain that those roots holding that tree up would be all of the spirit guides and the angels and the passed away loved ones and the ascended masters that are helping to support you while you're on your earthly journey. So that was a super long answer for a question about soulmates, but I do think that these concepts are very complex. They are not cut and dry, simplistic answers. They are pretty involved. And if you have anything that you would like to add around soulmates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So put your 2 cents in there. I'm always happy to hear other perspectives, but that's how it's been understood by me, and I feel like it's been confirmed by many, many people that I have spoken with who have had experiences on the other side, or who are mediums, or who are connecting to souls that confirm and talk about our experiences on earth. So thank you for that question. Love it. Okay. Beth, you're said, I'm not sure if my first comment showed up because It is a website, but please check it out. I would love to even come discuss it on your show and can discuss all of my synchronicities. It's Slay Santa. Okay, so because I'm so busy with this channel, my corporate job, it's hard for me to reach out and go towards you. So if you were interested, if any of you are listening have had a near death experience, you have something that you think would be valuable to share on this channel, you may email me. Have you put this in the comments if you're still out there hanging on. But and it's also in every single video in the show notes. I have the way to connect to me on email, and it is signs, SIGNS, surround, SURROUND, UYOU at gmail.com. Signs surround you at gmail.com. And I check that every day, and people reach out to me and say, I've had this experience and I'd love and come to talk to you. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have something that you think you would like to share on this show. I'm pretty open to letting people do that. Okay, let's see. Thank you. This is fascinating description of soul people, going back to source. Thank you for painting this picture with the tree. I love that. Thank you. Tammy, hi Tammy. Oh, thank you for coming. Tammy has been supporting me on this channel in her comments, in her views, in her shares for a long time now, and I am so grateful, so happy that you're here. It's always in perfect timing. There is no late. So thank you for joining. What did you miss? Just kidding. Oh, thank you very much. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, you can. What I've been doing right now with these lives, everything's a work in progress for me, and I'm getting ready to take on a very major expansion that I will be doing over the summer and releasing sometime probably in the summer time frame. I'm getting ready to make a lot of really, really big changes and how I navigate my life as I do this work on this channel. As this channel is growing, we're over 1.5 million views now on this channel, and the only reason this channel hasn't grown faster is because I have in my 45-hour corporate, hour a week corporate job. So I'm getting ready to, when I take the summer off, what I usually do is I do a lot of interviews leading up to the time that I take off to go to my cabin. My cabin is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I am about 10 minutes from Lake Superior, which is a massive body of water. I've been going to this place since 2007. It's my happy place. I hike in the woods, I kayak, and I blueberry pick like crazy all summer long. And I take my dog Blaze, and I have a teeny tiny log cabin. It's 950 square feet. It's really, really small. I have a few friends come and visit me, and I usually do not do any interviews during that time. I just edit. And this is the time that I recharge my batteries. Well, this summer, I'm building something really, really big. I'm going to build a community that has a lot of pieces to it. And one of the pieces that I'm feeling drawn to do is to have my catalog of videos available where people can watch them ad free. I love YouTube, but you cannot, just like in investing, you can't have all your eggs in one basket. And YouTube is really an interesting creature. And I say that because I have groups of other content creators that I'm connected with. I have a small group that I meet with every month. We had a meeting this morning, and we talk about all of the changes that we see on YouTube. And one of my really good friends made really, really great money on her NDE YouTube channel because she's been publishing for a long time, and her audience has grown so big, and she's done really wonderfully. And then all of a sudden, YouTube cut her what they pay her for her ads. They cut her so much that she can no longer fully cover the expenses that she was incurring to produce her channel, which is kind of a scary thing, right? So again, all the eggs in one basket, I would never invest all of my money in stocks, right? I would have a portion in real estate, I would have a portion in bonds, I would have a portion in cash, and I would have a portion in stocks that are built into like international stocks and REITs and all these different areas that you can invest, because you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself. So this is a two-pronged thing. It's number one, protecting myself against having everything in one place. But more than that, what my real intention is that I want to build a community with people like you who are here in this live tonight, who are going to rewatch this live after it's published. And I want to create some really special things that you can't get anywhere else. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to release probably this summer. So stay tuned for some really exciting things on this channel. I also want to take this live in a bigger direction. I need to figure out how to do this, but I love that I'm on here live talking to you, but it feels very much like a monologue because I feel like I'm talking at you. You're interacting in the comments, which is wonderful. But what I'd really love is if you were able to turn your camera on and ask a real question and I could see your face and everybody could see you and platform that was interactive. So that's the intention of where I want to go with this eventually. So many things that I want to do, so little time to do everything with all the interviewing I do and the editing and the comments, which are a job in and of themselves. I think I've explained before, I probably spend 5 or 6 hours a week answering comments. And it's just because I want to interact with you and I want to appreciate everybody who takes the time to write something on the channel. This was a lot easier a long time ago. I no longer can get to all the comments, but I do try in the first few days after a video is posted to go in and answer every comment that people are putting out there. So thank you so much for all of your support. Let's see. Somebody said YouTube took my channel down. What? They apparently have a problem with people who discuss psychological warfare of Santa Claus. I don't even know what that means. Again, thank you for reminding me. I've definitely over the years have seen people who have had their entire channel removed. Can you imagine? Like, I don't even know how many hours over the years I put into this channel. I have 500 videos up. I think I would probably curl into a ball and sob. And then when I was done with that, I'd be like, okay, why is this happening for me and not to me? But still, I'm happen because I understand how much work it is and how frustrating it is. I have no idea how YouTube decides what's valuable to people and what's worthy in keeping on there. So I don't know, Beth. Don't give up. Maybe try a different platform. Another thing that I'm getting ready to do, I want to add this content, add these exact videos to different streaming platforms like Spotify. I have a really great friend, my friend Allie, who I met in Egypt last year. Love her so much. She and I are in great communication, and she mostly listens to these types of podcasts on Spotify. And I'm not on Spotify. I'm not on Apple TV. I'm not on some of these other streaming platforms. And I'm trying to figure out how to change that. And a friend just gave me some information on how to post at least on Spotify. But I know you don't like get anything from it. This is all about helping people to utilize different areas because people consume things differently. Now I'll explain how I consume my YouTube because I really only subscribe to 3 different areas where I watch content. So for me, it's YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Netflix. That's it. I really don't watch anything else. I do not watch any news. I've talked about this at length on my channel. I really just keep myself pure. I don't watch sports or news or anything like that. But everything I consume is on YouTube. And I pay the YouTube premium so that I don't have to endure the ads because it's a lot to endure. And I feel bad for everybody because when you're monetized or when you're not monetized, no matter what, the content that is on YouTube has ads on it because that's how YouTube pays for all these billions and billions of videos, right? They've got to have revenue coming in some way, shape, or form to run their business because they don't charge you to be on to consume any of this, and they don't charge me to post anything on here. So this is how they make their money. And if you don't want to watch ads, you can pay, I think it's $13.99 for YouTube Premium. And I super recommend that for people because YouTube Premium does 2 things for me. Number one, I don't have to watch the ads, but number two, it has a download feature. So much like Spotify, you can choose to download your music where it lives on your phone, and then you can be on an airplane in airplane mode and still listen to a song or a podcast on Spotify. Well, YouTube has that feature also, but most people don't know about it. It's only available on YouTube Premium. And so I will download content that I can listen to when I'm driving, when I'm traveling, and it makes my life better because I can find things more easily instead of going through all my history. If there's something that I want to watch and I can't watch it right now, I'll download it. And then when I have time, I'll pull it up and listen to it when I'm doing work around the house or, whatever. Just that's just how I consume it. So I don't know if anybody was um, even to me, that's one of the biggest perks of having YouTube is that I can listen to these downloads anytime I want. So, okay, just wanted to share that. Santa has a lot of control over the entire world. Huh? Never heard that. Okay. Spotify would be awesome. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback. Seriously, I would do something like that in a heartbeat. It's so hard to find like-minded people, and this sounds extremely exciting. Oh, I'm so glad. It's probably going to be a paid platform because of all of the content that's going to be on there. I think I'm going to open it up to some fellow content creators and let them have different pieces that are going to live on it, in addition to having the videos that are ad free. And I'm probably going to do lives that are only for that group, that don't that are not for anybody else. They might not even be replayed anywhere else, or I may do lives and then just replay them, but the only way that you can ask questions is to be part of the community. And the number I'm thinking about is $11.11, because I just feel really called to that for what I'm going to create. It's going to be a lot of value. The other thing I'm going to do is take that content that I referenced before, the Uncover Your Soul's Purpose, and I'm turning it into a PDF format that you could read instead of consume as a video. So it would have chapters where, somebody just asked about the soulmates. You could go back and look at everything that I said about soulmates, and you could use a search feature to be able to pull out different concepts if you wanted to know about like chakras or whatever, and be able to search. And that's going to be something that people will get when they sign up for the community. So anyway, just some thoughts that I have, but thank you very much. What else do you want to talk about today, you guys? I'll share another synchronicity I got. I think this is kind of a funny one. So in my corporate job, I work on, I sell technology, and my background was that I was a pharmaceutical sales rep for Pfizer for a number of years. And then I left and I went into technology, and I worked for IBM and Hewlett Packard and some of these smaller technology companies. I currently work for a company that sells AI, information, archiving, storage, and data around information so that you could use AI to get more information from your data. And I only sell to pharmaceutical companies. So it's kind of a marriage of all the things that I do. And these are big, complex cloud deals that I sell, multi-million-dollar cloud deals. They don't pay me that much to do that, but anyway, that's what I do in my day job. And so whenever I'm pursuing one of these deals, some of these deals can take me an entire year or more to close. And I have one right now that just came up kind of quickly, that I've been just asking spirit like to show me, are we going to get this deal? It's a competitive deal. And so I was driving back from an appointment, and I drove past a car that had a license plate that said RISE, RISE. And the reason that this is significant is because the platform that this customer is buying this for is called RISE on this SAP system. It's too technical to get into, but it's a RISE system. That the whole reason that they're trying to buy this from me. And when I passed that, I was like, oh, I'm totally going to get this deal. Just like a year ago when I was in Egypt, I was at a hotel in Egypt, and I was in this competitive deal with this other company that was competing against me. And by accident, and we got off on the wrong floor, and I walked into a conference for this competitor. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, we're not going to win this deal. We didn't lose it to the competitor, but they didn't buy from anybody. I knew the deal wasn't going to happen. So I absolutely talked to my spirit team and I asked them to give me answers for things that are going on in my life, just like inside information. And they give it to me all the time. The secret is that you've got to ask, and then you have to be open and you have to look around to receive it. But they give me answers about stuff all the time, which is pretty cool. So it's not 100%, but you talk to my sister, it's pretty darn often that I'll get a confirmation about something. So that's how signs work for me anyway. Okay, I'm not seeing really any other things in the chat about anything that anybody's asking. So I don't talk about my book very often, but since I spent a long time today talking about signs and synchronicities, I'll tell you a little bit about the book that I wrote because this was a massive labor of love for me. I had this really close soulmate. His name was Mark. He was the lead guitarist of the band Starship, and when we were together, we had this incredible relationship that was on and off. And I learned a lot of lessons and a lot of things about myself in this relationship. And then when it ended, we didn't speak for 3 years. And one day I was walking on my walk and I had this thought that he died. And it didn't make any sense because he was 46 years old and healthy as far as I knew. And I didn't follow any of his whereabouts. But to make a long story short, later that day, my dad saw that he had died stepping off the stage at a concert in Nebraska. And this perpetuated me on a very deep spiritual journey to connect with him. I began reading all these books from mediums and, trying to find him on the other side. I was talking to mediums and had all of these experiences. And he very quickly began sending me signs. Like the second day after he died, he sent me this incredible sign where I got in the car and I turned it on and there was no sound coming out of my radio, but the radio screen said, Jefferson Starship with your love. And remember, this is the band he was the guitarist for. And this message said, with your love, but no music was playing from the radio. I could pick Alexa, stop alarm. Sorry, I set a timer just to make sure I'm not going over too long on these because I have to edit tonight. But in any case, he started sending me these signs and he froze my radio screen and sent me these signs. And so I started recording all these signs he would send me in a journal. And at the 2-year mark, the last sign filled up that journal. And then he came to me in a dream and told me he was most proud of our story. And this book began to write itself. So I wrote this book as a 2-part book. The first part is about the story of Mark and my relationship, our connection. And the second part is the signs that I received after he died in the first 2 years and while I was writing the book. And the reason that I wrote this book is because I wanted to help people to see their own signs. And by writing the book and explaining my relationship, you could extrapolate that information and say, okay, this one, I see how signs work and I see how I might get this is a sign from my passed away loved one. So I wrote the book. I sell it on Amazon. I think it's on all the major platforms. I sell it for $11.11. And I think I make like $2.62 or something when I sell this book. Just to let you know how much of a labor of love this is for me. What I didn't know when I wrote the book is that when you mention a song title, you can do that and you can put that in a book. But as soon as you write a lyric, you have to have permission from the song. And a lot of times it's a band or a singer or multiple people. And I didn't know this, but there are multiple platforms that people put their songs on where they get their royalties from. It took me over 2 years to get song permissions. I had to cut some signs out because it was getting so expensive. I spent over $10,000 to get the permissions to use these lyrics in my book. And it was never about making money or getting that money back. It was about the authenticity of the signs and the messages that I wanted to share with the world. So there are a lot of things that I do that I feel like are labors of love. This channel is a labor of love because I just finished my taxes and I still have never come close to breaking even on what I've spent. I'm over $40,000 on this channel in the time I've been on it. And I've never come anywhere close to this. So I do not do this for money. I know sometimes people start to look at, oh, you have all these followers. Oh, you must be making a ton of money doing this. It's extremely expensive with all of the editing software, with all, I pay my sister to get guests for me because it's her time. And there's so much that goes into it. And I'm not even counting my labor as any of the costs. But this channel, I'm so passionate in helping to empower you. You are a powerful soul. You are amazing. We are all connected. And when I say that to you, I'm saying it to myself because we are one having this experience. And when you wake up and you realize that you living a singular selfish life where this earthly experience revolves around you, that you have a ripple effect on every single person that you encounter, that you to make a difference just by smiling at somebody else, that what you do to another, you do to yourself. When you understand that, you show up in your life better. It changes how you think about other people. And we better be really careful with our thoughts, and we better be cleaning them up, and we better be getting rid of the judgment that we have when we look at somebody else and how they look, or what we think about them, or what we say about them behind our backs, or swearing at the other drivers in the car, which I'm still guilty of. But in saying all of that, at some point in time, these gifts that are coming online with our DNA being upgraded as we're going through these shifts, time is going to feel different. It's going to move faster. And people are already having gifts like telepathy come online. Look at the autistic nonverbal kids. I've talked about this on my channel a lot. You can check out telepathy tapes where they're having these telepathic conversations, not just with people they know in their lives, but they're going to a place that they call the hill, and they're having conversations with other autistic people like them in this place across the world, not speaking the same language, and they have evidential information, this confirmation that this is happening. So we better start cleaning up our thoughts, because pretty soon people are going to be seeing what you're saying. So don't forget how powerful you are, that everything is happening for you and not to you, even if you don't understand it in this moment, and that you are loved and you are never alone. How could you be alone? You're part of this amazing collective. Not only are you not alone in being the collective, but you have an entire spirit team who is at your disposal, assist you on your earthly experience. So I am so grateful for you. Thank you for every single one of you who took time out of your schedule tonight to join me, to listen to the explanations, to ask me questions, to just support me in this channel. I would love to hear from you. If there are guests that you think should come on my channel that you would like me to have a deeper conversation with, let me know. Put them in the comments. Put them on the comments on the videos, email me. I would love to hear from you. This is about you as much as it is about me. So thank you very much. Do not forget that we will be doing these lives on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. I will probably be skipping the one. I'm going to be in the Arctic Circle on a Wednesday in March. I'll let you know as it's getting closer that I probably won't do a live that day. I'm excited about two people who I interviewed this week. One is Dr. Sunshine. Her video is getting released on Friday. We had, oh my, high vibration conversation. I cannot wait for you guys to watch. And then today I had just an incredible conversation with Lisa Wetzel. She has her own YouTube channel. She's been on Next Level Soul and a whole bunch of other shows, and she connects with and channels the Akashic records. And we had a magnificent conversation about the Akashic and what's coming in 2026. So I'm really excited. That'll be next Friday's video. So I'm going to start editing that. But thank you to everybody. Thank you for your time. And I can't wait to connect with you again. So have an amazing evening. Bye-bye.